All right, cool. Let's go over to necessary. All right, so the Atlanta real estate market right now is going through, in my opinion, a type of reset or collapse. Okay. If you are looking for real estate property and you're trying to buy real estate in Atlanta, you're trying to buy your first home, you're trying to sell your home and move to your new home, the reality of it is that these numbers are going down. I mean, I've had property on the market, and one property I had 5 offers that came in, and all 5 of them fell through, either through the loan situation, the buyer pulling out, but most of the time, it's the buyer pulling out. And I personally believe they're just going around the corner and they're seeing something else that's probably slightly less, a little bit of extra features, and they're going with that. And they're using the leverage of their current contract, if they're under one, to actually allow them to win more deals, like to leverage in their negotiation. So the real estate market in Atlanta has changed, and I believe is only going to get more volatile. And how do I know this? 18 years in the real estate business. I've seen them come and go. I've negotiated them, sold them, buy them, did all those different things in between, helping with buyers, sellers, investors, all those different things. Nobody has ever seen this type of market before. And it's not even like the markets in 2006. The markets in 2006, going to 8, 2009, just even when it was collapsing, it afforded opportunities. I mean, people were losing their house, which was a sad thing, but you had a ton of people now starting to get off the fence slowly and buy houses. So the money was still flowing even when it was, it's even. But this market right now, this real estate market is going to create so much wealth if you don't let the chaos of all of this stuff going on in the economy, all this stuff going on with the jobs, all this stuff going on with fraud, Minnesota, the political climate. And if you can just lock in, you'll make a ton of freaking money in this real estate market. Take it from an 18-year broker, investor, all of that. This is the thing that they're not talking about. They're not speaking about. And what's even crazier and deep, I've had more conversations with people about creative financing where they're putting a fraction of their money down. In some cases, not even going to get a loan because the market is getting dicey. Put it like that.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to come on here and show y'all this loft located in the Castleberry Hill area in Atlanta, Georgia. And right now, this loft is $279,500. Willing to help you with some of the buy down on your mortgage rate, and they are going 100% financing. And there are 19 units available right now. All of them are for sale, like crazy. It went viral on Instagram, and I wanted to come on here and TikTok to give y'all an inside look on what some of these lofts look like. Again, 19 of them available. This is the room area right here, as you can see. Very large open space. Room right here. Closet space. And you have all these windows, a lot of natural light. This is perfect for artsy people. You can go ahead and rent these out, but if you are doing rentals in here, they do want them to be long-term rentals.
So we're seeing more inventory like this hit the market, and I don't think it's going to stop. I think it's actually going to increase just based on the fact that the buyers they can't keep up with the inventory. The inventory can't keep up. Well, you got more inventory than you have buyers. The buyers aren't keeping up.
The correlation between an Atlanta zip code and safety is not as strong as it used to be. Police are being called to pricey residences.
Activities are starting to change from what we are seeing in the streets to these more secure apartment complexes, location that may have a concierge desk or something of that nature. And we're working on a strategy to see how we can infiltrate that and intervene in those areas.
You have no idea who's living next to you.
This security consultant is on the ground floor of this
My guy, Candace, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping on the stream, hollering at your boy.
He hires off-duty cops to patrol and design security plans. His off-duty officers having to de-escalate the situation. But it sounds like it's happening on the doorstep and down the hall.
Exactly. That's the assumption, is that if you can afford a luxury condo in Buckhead, then you're safe because you got a concierge, which is not really security, that's manning the front desk. But then you have tenants that are not supposed to be in that kind of building, but they can afford it however they make their money.
So they're targeting y'all. I keep saying this. They're targeting y'all, and they're going to keep targeting y'all because as this market gets more and more, money just is the way that it is right now. You got a lot more people that don't have than have, or the people that have are smart. They're not spending their money just all over the place. They're starting to target y'all. So when you're looking for these houses, you gotta realize that there is an app. It is a Crime Watch app, and you need to subscribe to it.
Congratulations, well done.
You need to actually take the time, look up the address, and see how many pedophiles live around you, okay? Now, you may not have any pedophiles. God bless you if you don't. But you need to know who they robbing, from the cars that get broken into to the houses that get broken into. Because in this shift that's happening, the wealth is going to start rolling pretty soon. Meaning we're going to have people, the baby boomers, parents, grandparents for some, that begin to pass away, and they're moving that money over to you guys. Don't sell the houses. Don't put them out there. If you can, buy more. If you can't, buy more. Buy more, learn creative financing, try to jump onto that and stay onto it, because the confusion, I keep saying this confusion is designed to make you not pay attention to the transfer. Whether it's AI that I talk about or whether it's real estate, it doesn't matter. But they're targeting you guys.
And they're allowed to have guns inside these buildings because it's your home.
Once a high-income individual who may have questionable character is inside the gates, is it too late?
There's steps that, property managers and owners of the buildings can do, but, it might hit their bottom line. It might cost them, but if they don't do anything, it's going to impact the innocent people that are staying there.
And the security consultant noted that the summertime climate is already here. That'll mean in those high-rises, deck parties, drinking, and the likelihood that there'll be some guns and bags by the pool.
Atlanta real estate market is crazy right now, with deals falling left, right, and center. In fact, Atlanta led the nation with the number of canceled contracts in August of 2025, with 21% of deals just collapsing. Here's what's really happening.
So, like I said, I had one house on the east side. I had 5 contracts on this house in a matter of 2 months. Crazy. I've never seen that happen before. I've never lost 5 deals back to back to back on one house. So this is how I know that these buyers, you buyers out here, this is a buyer's market. Shop, find the deals, okay? Put in as many offers as you need to put in, because there are deals out here and you got to take advantage of them. I'm not even mad at those guys who dropped them off those contracts on the property, because I probably would have did the same thing.
I've been a real estate agent for almost 20 years, and I literally study the market every day. Sellers are stuck in the past. They're still thinking it's 2021, 2022, when homes sold in days and buyers waived contingencies and prices are skyrocketing. When the reality is that inventory is up 20% year over year here in Atlanta, so buyers have options. They're comparing listings, they're extremely cautious, and they're walking away when their expectations are not met. So sellers overestimate the value of the home and they list high. And then the market responds with crickets. Nobody's making offers. And then they drop the price. And they drop the price again until they eventually find someone to buy the property, or they decide that they don't want to sell and they withdraw the listing. And then there's the buyers who think that, oh, it's a buyer's market. I can go ahead and offer 50 grand under asking, and then turn around and ask for everything listed on the inspection report. And then they're shocked when sellers say no. So both sides are misaligned, and that's why you're seeing property sit on the market for a longer period of time.
Yeah, so what she's talking about is buyers that ask for too much in their offers. Yeah, if you want a property, buy the property. Ask for as much as you can. Don't go over the board thinking that you're going to get it at 50%. This is not a 2009, 2010 time. Will it get to that point? I'm a believer that it will get to that point. Why? Because as long as we have an issue with low supply of inventory, and as long as we have an issue with buyers, there's still buyers out there who want to buy, but they can't buy. They're gearing up to buy. And so it's less buyers out there. You will still have the advantage, okay? But 50K below market in Atlanta market, unless you're buying something, I think that's like 900,000, 800,000. But if you're going for like $300,000 homes, $400,000 homes, right now the average price of a home in Atlanta is roughly about $425,000. So you don't need to be coming down 50,000 on that and thinking you're going to get the deal. And don't run around town thinking you're going to find a $50,000 deal. It's more important to buy in the right location than to buy for the perfect amount. Okay? You want a good amount, but you want to buy in the right location, because the right location is going to determine in the next 5 to 10 years if you sell it at a loss or a profit, or you just break even.
And price cut after price cut, and deals falling apart during the inspection period. Look, we're in a very peculiar market right now. A lot is happening, a lot of moving pieces. Here's my advice to sellers. Be realistic about what your property is worth. Decide if you want to sell, and if you do want to sell, list it right the first time. It saves you time, stress, and frustration. Advice to buyers. Be realistic, be prepared, and don't go in with the expectation that every seller is desperate. Decide if you want to buy a home or not. Yes, there's room to negotiate. Feel free to, but don't go crazy. I'm Natalie Condo, your Atlanta realtor. Keep on the radar about what's really happening in the real estate market. Don't forget to follow for more.
The only thing that you're gonna get in
Hey, go out and give the shout. Give her a shout, man. Give her a shout. I love to see realtors doing their thing. Give them a shout.
Atlanta for $100,000 is dust. This is the first house right here. It says 3-bed, 1 bath, but it looks like it's really just a vacant lot. There's nothing there. So I think that's just the cost for the lot. The next one, $89,000. This house has busted windows. I guarantee you it's busted in there. You're going to have to put some extra money.
Hey, so these are fixer-upper deals that they float around the Atlanta market all the time. Hey, if you're interested in a fixer-upper deal, informate the links in the description. Just go ahead and fill out the form, and somebody will reach out to you, verify it. But these are off-market deals that we get. I work with a bunch of people, and they have these off-market deals, and they're always clamoring, Leon, you got somebody to buy here, somebody to buy here, someone to buy here. Man, I started doing it in 2015, and I haven't turned back at all. Off-market deals are the best way to find the best deals. Now, granted, depending on your loan situation, they may not fit. So we definitely need to talk about it before you move forward in any of those deals. But if you are just someone and you're ready to work on a house and get it to where it needs to be, you need it to add to your real estate portfolio, or let's say you wanted to be your primary residence, but you just want to do a cosmetic face. You don't mind doing a cosmetic facelift on the house, and you want to get a deal like that, then these off-market deals work for you. And these are what she's talking about.
With it to live there. That's an ad that just passed. This one says $99,000. Again, busted, can't live in there, fixer upper, nothing you can just, nothing turnkey. $95,000, same story, nothing turnkey. So essentially, and this one right here, $57,000, just a vacant lot. So $100,000 is not going to get you nothing here unless you got extra money to put with it, turn it around and sell it or live in it. So people think they're going to come down here and live like kings and queens.
Hey there, it's Tiana Lindo, your Metro Atlanta realtor broker.
Okay, yeah. So don't think you're going to come down to Atlanta and live like a king and a queen. Honestly, it's not like it used to be back in the day, but there are still deals down to be had here. You just got to know what type of deal you're looking for, and got to get the right people working it.
Consultant. So let's talk about the market for a second, specifically here in Atlanta. The market in Atlanta right now, guys, is, in a word, weird, slow, stagnant. And the reason why I say that is because we have the most inventory that we've had in the market right now in the last 3 years. We have the most right now. But the buyers, they're not biting as quickly as they normally do during this summer buying and selling season. So I think there are a few reasons for that. I think buyers are still iffy about interest rates, iffy about housing affordability, iffy about the economy, what's happening in the world. So I think that's what's really holding them back.
And that's going to be your primary way to drive down the next property you're trying to buy. And I believe also, a lot of people aren't speaking about this, the multifamily space is probably one of the best places you can join and grab some deals at also. You do have multifamily buyers. I've got some multifamily sellers that have sent their portfolio to me to actually liquidate, for not out of distress, but out of other situations. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are talking about that. But winter storm, I'm sitting at the propane tank at a U-Haul station, and I'm trying to actually get my propane tank full. And the lady next to me just bought a generator for her duplex, which her son stays on the other side. And we get to talking about it, and think about it. He's paying her rent. Is a duplex. She's making money off of her son living there at the same time. And if he moves or goes somewhere, she's got the other side of the duplex to lease out. So as the market does this shift and you see this pullback, look for things like that. Look for things like that because it's a great way to actually scale your portfolio or even find your primary residence. Look, my dog down there tripping. Let's go.
And giving them pause. So that's my take. Hope you guys are having a good day, and we'll see you on the next video.
New developments now on a story I first told you about last March. We're getting answers after complaints at a historic downtown Atlanta condominium high-rise. Now, those who call it home say Airbnbs are just taking over, causing chaos and higher fees. Today, the board responds to those.
It's too low.
I've been like low-key trying to buy a house in Atlanta for some time, and I have my Zillow alerts on, and a house, 4-bed, 4-bath, just showed up on the market for $889,000 on the same fucking street that I was touring a house in the middle of the day, and then we walk out, me and my real estate agent, and the cop drives by, rolls down his window, and he goes, "Did you just buy the house?" And we go, "No, we're just checking it out." And he goes, "Don't buy it." And we were like, and the cop was like, you do not want to buy a house here. $889,000 for a street, a house on a street that a cop literally said, "Don't fucking buy here. Don't do it." Oh my God.
That she got to be lucky she met that cop, that he came by that, because that's the thing about Atlanta, man. You will find some houses, you'll find some blocks that are beautiful, then you'll find some blocks that is going through the gentrification, but the houses are like 800, 600, 500,000. And you're thinking, man, I would never live here. I think this is equivalent to like the brownstones in New York right about now, where people, it is simply because people buy these, and the people in Brooklyn, they start not looking like the people that originally had the house. Meaning, I'm sorry guys, but it's a huge gentrification thing that's going on, white folks. You guys are buying up some places in the urban Atlanta area. So I don't know. When I look at it, is it worth the purchase? Between the higher taxes that you pay living in the city of Atlanta and the instability when it comes to like Airbnb, and they haven't quite gotten that whole thing down. So your guy right across the street from you can actually have an Airbnb and throw wild parties because they're still trying to figure out their Airbnb permitting process. Pick up the crime app, get a crime app, check it out, and make sure that you're not dealing with a high crime zone. Just because the house is 800,000 doesn't mean that it's not a high crime zone. I repeat it again. It doesn't mean that Atlanta is different. Very different. So you got to really do your homework when it comes to that type of stuff, or you're going to get caught out there.
Be very careful where you buy a house. I have this property in Atlanta that I'm trying to sell for $5.
I don't know why the audio's missing on that, but either way.
4 years maybe that I can't sell because of the fucking HOA. Not because my property is not attractive to buyers, not because there is anything wrong with my property. The reason I can't sell that bitch is because the HOA is shit. They don't have any reserves. They don't have any financials. They cannot provide any documentation for a lender in order to clear the property for close. First of all, they're not on the FHA approved condo list, right? Then again, with no budgets, even a conventional loan require you to submit a budget to show the health of the HOA. They don't have that. I don't know what's going on with the liability insurance. It's just shit. And I want to sell that property so bad, but I can't now. So when I put a property in the market a couple of years ago, I listed it for $239. I put a lot of money into that property. Got 2 or 3 offers. The first one was FHA. We tried doing a special approval thing that didn't work because they couldn't provide a budget. They didn't have a budget. So I was like, okay, we can only accept conventional loans. Conventional loan came. They still can provide the basic information that Fannie Mae requires in order for them to underwrite the loan. Couldn't even do that. So I lost those buyers. Then I eventually pulled the property off the market because I was like, I'm not doing this. Right? So I put the property off the market and I put it on Airbnb. I monitor the market. Because now they can only accept cash buyers and investors, the prices of that community has just dropped because people that want to sell, that are desperate to sell, have to reduce their price to get an investor, to get someone that's buying all cash.
And what she's saying is the HOA in some of these communities in Atlanta and surrounding Atlanta. Oh man, I could do a whole series on HOAs. It's freaking ridiculous. These HOAs can make it where you end up buying a house, and because it's been poorly maintained, which has happened to me twice. You figure the first time it happened, you will learn your lesson. It's happened to me twice. You get in a situation and you can't sell to the buyers that you want to sell to. For example, if a buyer has an FHA loan and that community, that HOA, isn't meeting certain guidelines, FHA won't allow that buyer to buy in that community. Meaning, if let's say the HOA community they're required to have a reserve. They can't go past 20% of their reserve mark, for example, or the reserve has to be a certain dollar amount, for example. If they don't have that, which is prevalent in some places, some communities on the south side of Atlanta, we're talking Union City, College Park, what's the other one? Union City, College Park, some South Fulton. If there's an issue right there with that reserve amount, you can't close on a loan. And a lot of buyers don't know because they get in that situation and they find out, hold on, what's going on? The community, it has nothing to do with your loan. And you wasted all this time under contract, and then you find out on the back end. So if you are going to buy a house, I tell you, do the best to stay away from HOAs. And if you got to go to an HOA, and some people love HOAs. I've got an HOA. It's not a strict HOA community I'm in, but I've got an HOA. And for me, it just keeps a level of consistency, but it's not strict. Some of these HOAs are very strict. So when you have people in that community, because this is the thing they don't tell you, you're not buying a house, you're buying the whole community, you're buying the neighborhood. But when you have people in that community that don't pay their HOAs, it's going to affect you. Please understand, it's going to affect you more than you think.
That's not going to be requiring financing to buy. And so the price went down from, what I had mine listed for, but now they're selling for 165, 150. I've even seen some of them trying to sell for. And again, it's because of the fucking HOA. The HOA is $315 a month. Them bitch don't do nothing. The gate has been broken for years.
Ooh, $315 a month. What?
Congratulations. Well done.
Oh, that is one of the things of Atlanta where people don't really talk too much about. These HOA in certain communities will kick your butt, drag you out, and they'll look at you stupid when they give you the invoice and you don't pay for it. And then when you pay for it, they'll say, oh, we waiting for everybody else to pay for it. We use yours to pay for the house, for the staff over there in the community center. So I keep saying this, stay away from these HOAs. You guys will have a hell of a lot better chance, I'm telling you, in getting deals.
To get to use the pool, the community pool that you pay in HOA fees for every month, you have to have a security clearance because they have like a signed or somebody that's manning the pool that you have to show that you live there, proof of residency. It's just stupid, and I want to get out so bad. The takeaway for this is, if you buy into a community that has an HOA, particularly a condo or a townhouse, look at the fucking HOA. Because when it's time to sell, if they're anything like this bitches over here, it's a headache. It's a nightmare. Be very careful.
Yeah, more of a nightmare and a headache than you know. I've been in situations, man, when I did not read the HOA disclosures. So, and you figure, Leon, you've been doing this since 09, 08. Why the hell you not reading the HOA disclosures? Because sometimes you get cocky and you've done it and you're like, I've done it. I know what I'm doing. Dude, come to find out that the HOA reserves were not met. So that means nobody could buy it through an FHA program. But even deeper, what was worse is that even the convention, it needed to be a conventional, it needed to be a VA loan, or they needed to do it cash. Okay. Ooh, the conventional fell apart also because conventional in that stage, they were still looking for a certain amount to be made. They were looking at the neighborhood and wondering why the numbers were fluctuating. It was so sketchy. We ended up selling it to a VA person. I ended up getting a whole lot less than I anticipated getting because it took longer to actually sell the deal. So I say, if you're going to mess around with real estate, please stay away from these HOAs. I've had an HOA tell me that I couldn't even sell the property to a particular party because the party that was buying the property, they were actually buying it through another entity or another group they were buying it for them, and that's a normal thing. It happens now. And they were going to lease it back to them. And so it looked like a lease. It was more issue with the buyer that was buying it to lease back to that family. But they told them every day that family leases the property, because we're talking about a community with houses that are fully 5-6 bedroom houses, had a gas station in the freaking in the community. So it was definitely, they were trying to protect something. They wanted to definitely make sure they kept all the riffraff out. Nobody said, well, they did tell us, you can't have renters. I'm not thinking about renting the property. I'm thinking about selling it. We're fixing it to actually sell it. But the time comes to sell it to the buyer is planning on leasing it to someone. They're not living there. They're an investment company. They buy stuff for people, lease it to them, and then the people end up buying it from them. So it took till the actual day that property was about to be foreclosed on, because my partner didn't even pay the bill. She let it fly, for us to actually find a buyer and to get it sold. Now, cool thing about this, I had a relationship with the lender, so they were cool with me. But at the end of the day, God, if I was someone that needed to actually sell it and relocate, and it was important for my family to get rid of this because we couldn't carry 2 mortgages and it was that crazy, it would have actually went into foreclosure. It would have been a terrible situation. These HOAs are like mafia sometimes. So if you're going to buy a house, make sure you check the HOA and realize that even when this market is collapsed,